Previously on Apollo Justice, Ace Attorney. How can you prove something like that? Bullets carry marks from the barrel that fired them called rifling marks. Rifling marks? You mean like how you rummage through a Rolodex to find a number that you've forgotten? How do you know what a Rolodex is? Daddy has one. He keeps a lot of numbers of ladies in there, and yet I still don't have a new mommy. What happened to your old mommy? Yeah, moving on. No, don't move on. I want to know where your mother is. Damn it. Yes, I went to the clinic that day to speak to the doctor. I wanted that chart, but I failed to get it. So I went back to the clinic later. In any case, I didn't shoot him. You don't even have proof that I stole the pistol, do you? And that brat was spotted in the park at the moment of the crime. Frankly, I don't think it matters if Dr. Maractus was shot in the temple or not. Oh. You went back later? That chart was dangerous, you understand. I needed to get rid of it. That's why I went that day. But you couldn't get the chart then, could you? And later that night, Dr. Maractus was shot. I heard about the shooting, waited a day, but then I had to go back. No easy feat with the cops all over the place. Dang! That was you? Ah, my theory about it being the cat was wrong. Apollo! The sound! It came from behind this door! Someone's in there! A break-in! They left through that window! So, you were the burglar. That was you two? If only I'd had one more minute. Then I could have opened that safe and gotten the chart. What? That's trespassing! And brazen at that! Oh, is this a trial for trespassing now? Besides, you can't blame a girl for wanting to protect herself. They are gangsters, you know. In any case, Mr. Justice, your cross-examination. Admitting the little crime to avoid the big one, eh? Cross-examination, start. Yes, I went to the clinic that day to speak to the doctor. Why that day? That brat was uncontrollable. He was ready to kill. And that would bring in the police. And that chart would become evidence. And I'd be hung out to dry. But the police didn't check the safe, did they? Well, they thought the crime scene was the park. I'll make sure the responsible parties feel the heat. Such sloppiness won't be tolerated, yeah? I'm kinda thankful for that sloppiness myself, actually. I wanted that chart, but I failed to get it, so I went back to the clinic later. Later. When I heard what happened, well, I was too scared to do anything that day. So I waited until the day after. 16th, was it? Of course, you and that middling kid had to get in my way. But why did Dr. Maractus keep that chart around? It was clearly dangerous for him. He could have burned it. Because he's a coward. The chart was his insurance. Insurance? My signature on that chart, to be more specific. That made sure I couldn't betray him. Oh. In any case, I didn't shoot him. You don't even have proof I stole the pistol, do you? But you could have stolen it. Could have? Is this some new definition of proof? Well, ask Waukee, he'll tell us. Objection! Might I remind you that this is a cross-examination? You might want to keep your baseless theories to yourself. He's right, isn't he? Yeah. And that brat was spotted in the park at the moment of the crime. Yeah, but, But what? You have nothing to say. This case is over. It was over the moment that brat was seen in the park. What's the point in dragging it out any further? Nah. Frankly, I don't think it matters if Dr. Maractus was shot in the temple or not. The doctor was shot in the right temple, yes? So it seems. Let's review the facts again, shall we? If the killer shot from this location, the bullet would have struck our victim square in the forehead. However, the entry wound was in the right temple.
Yes, we heard testimony on this yesterday.
At the time of the shooting, the witness was standing here.
No, he wasn't.
Just before the gun was fired, he shouted. The victim turned his head to look and was shot.
Objection!
But that testimony was proven to be a lie. Our egregious panty snatcher, Mr. Stickler, did witness the crime, but he was standing to the north, next to the trash can where he tossed those panties. If Mr. Stickler shouted from this location, the bullet couldn't hit his right temple. Silly, silly attorney.
What?
Do you remember what you had for breakfast that morning? Do you remember, Trucy? I always have a glass of milk for breakfast. What matters is one thing. The doctor was shot in his right temple. If that's the case, there can only be one explanation. The panties guy was mistaken.
Objection!
But his location was proven. You can't write that off as him being mistaken.
Objection!
Then why don't you show us there, Forehead?
To show you what?
Must I explain everything? Very well. Let's recap. If the witness, panties guy, was standing to the north, then where was the shooter standing? From what location did the killer shoot the victim?
I already know this one.
But wait, if the witness was standing there, how could anyone shoot the victim in the right temple?
I merely laid out the facts for us. It is up to the one possessing the shiny forehead to show us.
My forehead is not shiny.
If you can, that is. Waki Kataki was standing at the killer mark. Wesley Sticker was at the witness mark. And of course, Pal Maractus was at the victim mark.
Let's hear what the defense has to say. Where was the killer standing when they shot the victim?
Someplace else. As the facts stand now, we can't explain this crime without contradicting ourselves at some point. But I know why. The real killer shot from an entirely different location. What are you talking about? I don't see any other place.
Apparently, Mr. Justice does. Let's hear it. Where in the park did the killer shoot the victim from?
Objection!
It's time to raise the roof and the stakes.
Yeah.
Penalties are such frightening things, don't you think? But what if they were a bit more terrifying?
Eh?
Oh dear. Like so.
The double penalty?
Herr Forehead wishes to take us in a new direction? Then he must be ready for the challenges ahead.
Challenge accepted. It's justice time! Now, are you sure, Apollo?
The key is the witness, Mr. Stickler's testimony. If we believe that, and we know where he stood, and the victim turned when he shouted, there's only one place the killer could have been. The killer shot the victim from here.
Take that!
I believe we all owe a debt of gratitude to Ms. Alita Tiala.
What do you mean?
Thanks to you, we had a chance to review the crime. And this time, we were prepared. We know that Wesley Stickler was telling the truth. We should have listened to him from the beginning. Wesley Stickler was standing next to the trash can when he saw the two men. He shouted just as he told us in his testimony. And the victim turned to look in his direction. A shot was fired. The victim was hit in the right temple.
Oh no!
Oh yes! Which direction was his right temple facing at that moment? That's right, towards a noodle stand!
Order! 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 So you're saying the killer was inside the noodle stand?
Let's think about this a bit more, shall we? You say the killer was inside the noodle stand, which would mean the victim, Dr. Maractus, came to the park, wheeling his own murderer in the cart behind him. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I think you'd notice if you were pulling someone along.
Objection!
There's something we should worry about before that. Why was he pulling the noodle stand in the first place?
Objection!
Let's deal with our problems one at a time, shall we? Someone was hiding in the noodle stand. We have not come this far to talk about possibilities. Let's talk about proof, baby. Show us evidence that proves someone was in that stand. Can I prove that? You want evidence that someone was in that stand? Well, I've got it. I got it right here.
Intriguing. Let's see what you got. Show us proof that someone was hiding in the noodle stand.
Oh, crap. They do? Oh, right. The slippers.
Take that!
The Maractus Clinic. And they're covered with paint. These slippers were found in a trash can near the scene of the crime. And a single slipper print was found at the scene, right next to the noodle stand. Yeah. Oh, and Ms. Tiala, your toe print was found inside the left slipper. In other words, this is proof you were inside that noodle stand. Yet there was only one slipper mark found at the scene. Can this be called a footprint in good faith?
Objection!
Well, yes. Observe the diagram. A park pathway runs right next to the slipper mark. A slipper wouldn't leave a trace on a cobblestone path.
Objection!
Yet you still cannot say this is a footprint, yeah? Why not? You have an impression left by a single slipper. What if it was on the stand and simply fell to the ground?
Objection!
That's just dumb. One more thing. A noodle stand is typically cluttered with the tools of the noodle making trade. There's no room for a person to ride in there. Ow! That's why all those bowls were inside the greeting area of the clinic.
You have a point. Could someone have hidden in that stand?
Apollo, I think I might be onto something. Yeah, me too. I think I figured out one of our pieces of evidence. In order to make room in the stand, some things would have to be...
Well, Mr. Justice, do you have proof that someone could have hidden in the stand?
I can prove one thing. Someone did scheme to clear space in that stand.
Take that!
This is a noodle bowl from the stolen Eldoon Noodles noodle stand.
Yes, and what about it?
We discovered a large quantity of these bowls yesterday. In the lobby of the Maractus Clinic. Lobby, that's the word I was looking for.
A large quantity of noodle bowls in the victim's clinic?
Mr. Eldoon was very clear about those bowls. Well, I don't care who did it. Without that stand, I'm finished. All my noodle bowls were in there too. Yet the bowls were removed. That night, there was space inside that noodle stand. Space created at the practice clinic, no less. Right around the time that you were there, Ms. Alita Tiala. Stop! I won't listen to any more of these wild fantasies. No, not fantasies. They're worse lies than that spoiled brat's pickup lines.
I would like to remind the witness of her current status. This court does not consider you entirely innocent.
Show me an innocent and I'll show you a fairy tale.
In any case, the defense has somehow made its point. The witness had both a motive and an opportunity to kill Dr. Maractus.
More fairy tales. This whole trial is a fairy tale.
Then please, pull us back down to reality, Ms. Tiala. I'm giving you one last chance to explain yourself.
This is it. Why was Dr. Maractus pulling that stand that night? And what was Alita Tiala doing inside it? Time to get to the bottom of this case. Witness testimony. Tiala's explanation. That night, I went to ask Dr. Maractus for the chart. I had no intention of ever letting that chart fall into the Kataki family's hands. But Dr. Maractus didn't understand. For some reason, he thought the Katakis had sent me. So I gave up and went home. All I did was talk to him. You knew about the botched operation. So you tried to get rid of the chart to save yourself. I won't make excuses. And I did warn the good doctor. I gave him a chance. I told him that Brat got his health checkup report. And that he was coming to settle the score.
I see. Very well, Mr. Justice, begin your cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor. This is the last testimony. Either I perceive the truth or it's over. Okay. Cross-examination, start! That night, I went to ask Dr. Maractus for the chart. So you did go to steal that chart? Were you listening? I said I asked him for it.
The victim was a man in good health. I don't see how she could have coerced him. With a gun?
True, it would have been impossible without a pistol. But what if she did have a pistol? I'll admit I wanted the chart. That much is true. My reason was simple. I had no intention of ever letting that chart fall into the Kataki family's hands. It certainly would have put a damper on your wedding plans, I'd say. Not only that, if the Katakis had gotten that chart, I'd probably be with Dr. Maractus now, pulling that great noodle stand in the sky. It seems our witness was in a fix as well. Who would want to die by pulling a noodle stand? When I die, it'll be by disappearing mysteriously in the middle of a magic act. Could we be a little less morbid, please? So you see, I needed that chart. But Dr. Maractus didn't understand. He didn't understand? He wouldn't listen to a word I was saying. The moment he saw me, he started to tremble. I thought, what a sad excuse for a man. Please don't smile like that anymore, it's creepy. He was practically delusional. For some reason, he thought the Katakis had sent me. They sent you? He thought the Katakis had sent me to get the chart. It makes some sense. You are their son's fiancé. Don't make me laugh. The Katakis send me? They don't play that way. If they'd known about that chart, they would have gone in there with guns blazing. But I couldn't convince the trembling doctor otherwise. So I gave up and went home. All I did was talk to him. If that was really all that happened, what were all those noodle bowls doing there? How should I know? There weren't any bowls when I went, I know that much. Why don't you let me be and go look for your killer someplace else, all right?
Do I detect uncertainty there? It's my last chance.
Apollo, any word from your bracelet?
Yeah, actually. I felt it respond.
I couldn't see a thing. It's up to you, Apollo.
Time to perceive the truth. Here comes justice.
All right. Let's see. No intention of him. Well, that's true.
Oh.
Dr. Maractus didn't understand. For some reason, he thought the Katakis.
Okay. All I did was talk to him. That is clearly not true.
So I gave up and went home. All I did was talk to him.
Well, that's not true. Oh. There.
Gotcha!
Gotcha, Miss Tiala.
I heard you just fine the first time.
What?
I wasn't aware we were playing paintball. She's one cool cucumber, that Alita.
Maybe I spotted the wrong spot. But my bracelet reacted. There must be something in this testimony. No. I'll find your weak spot, Alita Tiala.
All right.
Wrong word, maybe?
So I gave up and went home. All I did.
Maybe I have to be on the right. Okay, talk. Maybe that's it. And she's tugging at her scarf.
Gotcha!
Oh, that's the one. I have to get the right word as well as the right segment. All right. All I did was talk and lie.
What? Show me proof.
I'm pretty sure about this one. I think I'm getting the hang of this. A little slip in confidence and they give it all away. The proof is you, Miss Tiala. All I did was talk to him, you claim. And yet you can't hide your own nervous twitch when you say those words.
My twitch? What are you talking about?
You have a habit of scratching the area of your neck around the edge of your scarf.
What?
This is working better than I'd hoped. Her unconscious actions tell the truth she won't say. Habits and lies, 2 dots. Connect the dots and they find the truth.
Don't look at me like that. I told you the truth.
It seems that when you recall what really happened in that office, you can't keep your hands off your neck, can you?
Oh, did he?
Did he choke her out or something? Seems that nervous habits are unconscious reactions that manifest when someone is trying to hide something. Can't hide behind your scarf, Ms. Tiala. Something happened between you and the victim in the Maractus Clinic office. And I've got proof that shows exactly what happened.
I do.
Is it the bullet? It is the bullet, right? Oh. Let's just be sure. I have not presented this yet. I think I've presented everything else at least once. So maybe it's the lamp.
Take that!
What's that?
You're touching your scarf again. Oh, the cord. There's something unusual about this lamp. The bulb is broken and there's a red splotch on the cord. See, now you hide your neck. I think I can come up with a plausible explanation for the lamp's state So that was blood, not paint. Well, spit it out. This talking in circles is nonsense is killing me. Very well. The answer is very simple, Ms. Alita Tiala. Please remove your scarf. Eek!
Objection!
Oh. This is a trial to determine what happened in that park. Yet we seem to have drifted off target.
Objection!
We'll find out soon enough if we're drifting, as soon as the witness removes her scarf. I won't do it. This is insane. I'm an unrelated third party. You can't order me to remove my clothing.
Ms. Tiala, I'm afraid you've forgotten what's already been proven.
What?
You're hardly unrelated. Please remove your scarf.
No. No! I knew it. So I was right, wasn't I, Ms. Alita Tiala? There it is, ligature marks.
Your neck! That isn't what I think it is.
Something did happen that night in the Maractus clinic. You needed to get that chart back no matter what it took. Even if you had to steal your fiance's pistol to do it.
But wait! Looking at this lamp and the witness's neck, it looks like the very opposite happened.
Exactly. The victim in the clinic that night was this witness. Specifically, you tried to threaten Dr. Maractus and he attacked you. That's what happened that night at the Maractus clinic. Hey.
Order! 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 Will someone please tell me what really happened?
I told you the truth already. I went to the clinic that night to warn Dr. Maractus. That gangster knows everything. He's coming for you. Looks like my clinic's seen its last patient. We have to get rid of that chart. Quick, open your safe. Give it to me. So you can save your own skin? What? I know what you're up to. You won't end with the family. And if they see that chart, you're finished. Leaving me holding the short straw. But if I'm going down, I want some company. You. And what happened next? He jumped at me and knocked me to the floor. Then he took that cord. Pal Maractus was serious, deadly serious. He really tried to strangle me. I must have blacked out. Hello?
So, you were the victim.
And the red splotch on the cord was your lipstick. Oh my God, I was right the first time. Ugh. I didn't want to remember that night. That's why I didn't bring it up. There, are you happy now? I was out cold, almost killed. And you claim I then snuck into that noodle stand? But how could I? Act. Oh, I know exactly how. He put you in there.
Well, one thing is clear. We now know what really happened at the Maractus clinic. And it would seem that our victim was not entirely without blame himself.
I'm sorry. I get so nervous just thinking of it. It's hard to breathe. I've told you everything. Can I go home now?
You bear some responsibility for the events that day, true. Yet, if you were also a victim, this court would owe you some sympathy. Well, Mr. Justice, I believe this clears up the remaining questions for Ms. Tiala.
When did this happen? Suddenly everyone's sympathizing with her. I don't know what to think anymore, Apollo. I mean, is that it? Do we know everything we need to know about Ms. Tiala?
Very well. This finishes the cross-examination of this.
Objection!
Oh. Hello?
Not so fast. This party's just getting started. Now we rock. Those spikes in your head are softer than they look. Or do you not have the stomach to go all the way?
Prosecutor Gavin, are you proposing some illicit activity with Mr. Justice?
Well, we'll leave that aside for now. Palmeractus choked Alita Tiala. She fell unconscious. But what happened next?
He's right. There is more we don't know. But she was choked hard enough to leave that mark. She would have been out for a while. Even still, what if it was her in that noodle stand?
Alita Tiala, half dead, Dr. Maractus pulling that stand, and a bullet fired from inside the noodle stand.
What if it's all true? We might have already figured out what truly happened that night.
Ms. Alita Tiala, as you can see, we're not through with you just yet.
You really want to blame me for this murder, don't you? You too, Prosecutor Gavin.
Me? Roll lie. I only wish to know the truth.
Well, let's go back over what we've learned up till now. On the day of the murder, Waki saw his checkup report, from which he learned about the bullets still inside him. So, he took a pistol from the family stash with the intent to give Dr. Maractus some of his own medicine. And Miss Tiala heard about this from Waki. So she went to the Maractus clinic ahead of him in order to get rid of the chart with her signature. But then something happened. Sounds like you figured it all out. But remember, I was the victim. I was out cold.
But what about Dr. Maractus? That does seem to be the problem. He had just strangled Alita Tiala, perhaps he thought to death. He was a terrible doctor after all. What did he do after his crime?
I was just knocked out, not dead.
From the state of his clinic and the scene in the park, I think it's clear what the good doctor did next. Well, hair forehead, care to guess?
He really does care about the truth more than getting the win. Okay, I'm beginning to really like this guy.
Well, Mr. Justice, what did Dr. Maractus do?
And maybe he did think he killed Alita Tiala. Do I have evidence to show what he did next? Are we back to the bowls? Or the noodle stand? Have I actually presented the noodle stand yet? Well, I have 2 left. As his next move, Dr. Maractus stole Guy Eldoon's noodle stand. What? Killing me disturbed him that much? So much he randomly stole a noodle stand? The hell is wrong with you? It wasn't so random. Remember all the bowls in the clinic's foyer? Bowls that belonged inside of that stand? I think it's pretty obvious, don't you? That stand was at the clinic. However, the question is, why did he remove the bowls? Maybe because the stand was heavy? Or he wanted to put something in the stand in their place.
Wait, you don't mean...
I do. Dr. Maractus did replace those bowls with something. Your corpse, Ms. Tiala. My corpse? Dr. Maractus panicked. He thought he'd killed you.
His next move would be to dispose of the body.
That's crazy talk. You're all crazy.
Objection!
Then let's think about it, logically. The doctor had a place to dispose of you in mind. But on his way there, who should he run into but the defendant Waki Takataki? I question your logic.
What's this, Prosecutor Gavin?
The park is a dead end. Why would he head in that direction to begin with?
That's right. He had no reason to go there. Oh, now I get it. It was a trick. That spoiled brat made him do it. He made the doctor steal the stand.
Tell me, why would someone go to a dead end? Unless the park was his destination.
The what?
Apparently, the defense has an idea. Tell us where Dr. Maractus was headed with the stand.
Oh my God, is that a river?
Here, please show us on this diagram. So where exactly was the victim dragging that stand? There, that's a river.
Yes, Your Honor. I scarcely need to explain why. A perfect place to dispose of a body.
He was going to throw me into that river?
He didn't have many other options, Fraulein. I believe this clears up all of the remaining questions. The victim pulling the stand and the defendant before him. And inside the stand, you, Mrs. Alita Tiala. And then, the denouement. Wesley Stickler of panty snatching fame walks up. Seeing the two men, he shouts. In that instant, I'm sure this looked very, impressive on the 3DS.
So I shot him.
You were the only one who could have stolen Waki's pistol. It had to be you.
Well, Miss Tiala.
Nice work.
You mean I'm right?
I mean, you've done a fine job dreaming up a story to get that spoiled brat off the hook.
You're the one who's dreaming.
Apollo's backed up everything he said with facts.
If you're so sure he's making it up, give us another reason. Why was Dr. Maractus pulling that stand through the park?
Who knows? But there's one gaping hole in your logic. I think Mr. Gavin knows whereof I speak.
Where? Why now? I can't believe she's still trying to deny this.
Is this true, Prosecutor Gavin?
Must I always be the one to point out Hair Forehead's errors?
Yeah,
maybe there really is something. I believe the Fraulein speaks of Herr Doctor's car. His car.
That's right. The Maractus Clinic has that big garage.
In which that a green sports car, was it?
Why would he steal the stand in the first place? If he wanted to carry a body, he would have used his car.
And so we find our victim without probable cause to steal that stand. And our defense without a case.
I have an idea. You know that green car? I bet it wouldn't run. It was broken.
What an excellent counter-argument, Fraulein. Too bad you're quite wrong.
Yeah?
Don't tell me you've forgotten what happened to your daddy.
The daddy?
Ah, that's right. That night, the car that hit Mr. Wright was that green sports car.
Oh, yes, I'd nearly forgotten about it.
Afterward, he drove it back to that garage. It ran fine.
That's right. So why didn't he use his beloved sports car?
A glaring contradiction, to be sure. More glaring than your forehead. Oh my God. No! There's nothing wrong with my forehead. You're just banging on that because I was talking about it being shot in the forehead.
Ah! Order! 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 Well, Mr. Justice, what is with your forehead anyway? And why didn't Dr. Maractus use his car to carry the body? Is that a grown-up surrender I hear?
No. Some advice. Now's a good time to review all you know. Everything you've learned over the last 2 days. Everything I've learned?
Mr. Justice's contradiction casts doubt on your entire case. This is truly your last chance. The defense will explain to us what happened that night.
The car didn't run because of the movie American Graffiti. Yeah, there was a scene in American Graffiti where they stuffed a banana in the tailpipe of a police car and the car couldn't run because of that. And I think Gavin mentioned it on the first day. I have an idea. It's all coming together. That night, Dr. Maractus couldn't use his car.
Now you're making even less sense than usual.
Not according to my information, Ms. Tiala. Put one and one together and the explanation is simple.
If it's so simple, perhaps you can show us some evidence? Show us proof why the car wouldn't run that night.
Because there were wadded up panties inside the exhaust pipe. Mythbusters busted that myth, by the way. Oh.
Take that!
Well, let's see now. Panties? Again?
Not just panties, Your Honor, but panties of infinite holding. And all sorts of things come out of my panties. Even the truth.
Another crime was committed the night of the murder. The theft of these panties. The latest in a string of similar thefts, actually. But that night, the snatcher was caught in the act. A brave young girl chased the thief until he hid in the Maractus Clinic garage.
What?
The snatcher hid the panties there before running. Perhaps someone in this court remembers where he hid them.
Why, weren't they found in the car's exhaust pipe?
Exactly. By the way, I learned something yesterday. A very important piece of information. And I learned it from you, Prosecutor Gavin. I learned it from watching you.
So you were here investigating?
And I was on my way home when my hog gave up the ghost. Your hog? My motorcycle won't start. A clogged exhaust pipe.
Oh, too bad. It looks like such a nice bike, too. Hard to believe that it could break just from that.
Cars, motorbikes, they're all the same. Clog the exhaust and they won't run.
My, how interesting.
While Ms. Tiala and the doctor were struggling, the panty snatcher snuck into the Maractus garage. From that time until the time we found these, that car wouldn't start.
What? That's why Dr. Maractus had to use the noodle stand. It was the next closest thing he could think of.
Well, Ms. Tiala? This wraps your doubts up quite nicely, I think.
So it does. Where am I? So dark. I can't see. Cramped. The pain. My throat's burning.
What's your problem?
You, Doc. I know what you did. Waki? You lied to me. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna give you a taste of your own medicine, man.
Wait, let me explain.
Fine. I'll give you your last request.
Listen, you're being tricked, but not how you think. It's not just me.
No. He'll ruin everything. I have to stop him. Sleazy said wants you to. Bang. And funny. This isn't the way it was supposed to turn out. Oh well, too bad.
There's still one mystery. How did you manage to disappear from that stand?
In the silence after the shot, I heard the witness running.
I believe we heard as much from Wesley Stickler. He went to use a public phone to inform the police.
Which is when I made my escape.
Which is when you left that slipper print.
Dr. Maractus didn't bother taking my slippers off. I threw them out after I stepped in that paint, though.
That was your mistake.
No, my biggest mistake was coming to you for help, Mr. Justice.
Eh?
I believed in you. You and your anything agency. If anything would get Waki declared guilty, it was you.
Oh, ye of little faith.
I believe we've reached a conclusion of sorts. Prosecutor Gavin, how is Ms. Alita Tiala doing?
She's confessed to everything. We're processing her arrest now.
Prosecutor Gavin sure seems calm for someone who just lost.
I think he already knew. He'd figured out she was the killer a while ago. Some advice. Now's a good time to review all you know. Everything you've learned over the last 2 days. He lost, but I didn't exactly win either. Something the matter, hair, forehead?
Looks like it's time to announce a verdict. Not guilty.
Yay! We won.
Court is adjourned.
June 17th, 4:12 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2.
Great job, Apollo. You did it.
Yeah, we did, somehow.
Waki's off the hook. Free to become the gangster he's always wanted to be. And he has you to thank for that. Hey, attorney man. You gonna pay for what you did to my Alita, Holmes? Or to blame, I guess. You give my Alita back! Stupid pointy-headed attorney with a death wish!
Enough, Waki.
Stop doing that, Mr. Kataki.
It's high time you open your eyes, Waki.
What do you know, old man? I think it's about time you open yours. Giving up the life, trying to become some kind of businessman.
Don't talk about what you don't understand, Waki.
I'm afraid the guard is going to throw them both out.
If not in jail. Wouldn't that be a happy ending?
Hey, maybe we can help them out. We know why Mr. Kataki needs to make so much money. Maybe we should tell Waki. Oh, Waki, Apollo has something to tell you.
I do. The way to put me on the spot.
What's that? Show him the reason why, Apollo.
Why is Mr. Kataki trying to become a businessman? Oh, crap. Oh, no.
Is he dying?
Hang on. Oh, he has to go legit so Waki can go to a real doctor, I think. Let me make sure.
Take that!
Think about it, Waki. Think about your condition. I talked with your mother, Little Plum, yesterday. It pays, but we need a lot of money right now. Clean money, that is.
She doesn't mean... You don't really... Are you...
I searched the globe, and I found one. A doctor who can take that bullet out of you, Waki. But it's an expensive procedure.
Man, but you got plenty of money already, don't you?
I won't use it. It was the gangster life that did this to you, Waki. I want to help you, and I want to do it clean.
Oh, those are eyebrows.
Please understand, Waki.
Dad? Man, I see how it is, old man. Always you looking out for...
Waki?
Listen good, old man. One day, I'm gonna take you out. Then we'll see who's the OG. You try to hide in your business suit and I'll find you. Super old geezer.
Well, crap.
Waki!
No, it's as it should be.
Mr. Kataki.
I liked him more without the puppy dog eyes. I'm glad to have met you. I'm not so good with words, but I know a professional job when I see one. Thank you.
Oh, me? I don't think...
Someday, I'll bake you one of our latest, the Kataki lime pie.
He's opening a pie shop.
So long.
Okay, explains the apron. And he was gone. Well, let's head back, Apollo. To the Right Anything Agency. Hey, since when do I work at your agency? Oh, we make a good team. Don't just stand there. Let's get going.
Why not? She did help me out. And there's a few questions that still need answers.
Like this power of mine that she showed me. And my bracelet. If anyone can help me figure it out, it's her. Though I can't say I care much for what her father has become. Oh, that's right. We have to go someplace first.
Huh? Where?
Why, to claim our reward from Mr. Eldoon. Oh. Salty noodles. Right. You gotta stand back already? Oh, and after that, you can come see my show. With a special appearance by the amazing Mr. Hat.
Always special, all right.
Please, anything but him. The end! To the outro! Well then, we got Waki off, but now he's mad at us and his father, even though his father's going legit to try to save him. And Alita confessed that she was only after him for his money. Oh well. I'm much more interested in the dynamic between Phoenix and Trusty. Who is or was her mother? Did Phoenix adopt her? Or is their relationship less official? And who is her real father? Will this 15-year-old girl ever stop talking about what's in her panties? Will Clavier ever kiss that forehead he's so obsessed with? Hopefully we'll get some answers soon. In the meantime, up here's a playlist of my Danganronpa V3 playthrough, and down here is the video that YouTube recommends. Also, if you'd like to help support a fuzzy little monster and get videos a week early, we have channel memberships for that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!